Hey yo, I'm Colby from Sanitarium Productions. Today we're back with another exciting action figure review. Today we're looking at a G.I. Joe box set. Dun, dun, dun. So this is the Defense of Cobra Island box set. It came out in 2009 and it has 7 figures in here. And at the time, this was basically the only way to get these figures. So they were unique sculpts and unique characters that had not been released before, and most of them are all fall within that like 1987 range. So some cool characters in here. We've got the Night Creeper, we've got the Cobra Bat, the Battle Android Trooper, got the Lamprey, which was the Hydrofoil Driver, Dr Mindbender, Range Viper, an Air Viper, and an Alley Viper. And so the Alley Viper was, excuse me, as you can see, it's the orange version. So that original release in the vintage line that came was kind of a weird color choice, and it kind of stuck with many of us. So this is the only way to get that first release of that orange and blue kind of weird color scheme from him. Some of the rest of these characters were essentially, this set had that original costume release, so some of these have been released later in different versions, but not with these classic vintage line color schemes. So this is a pretty cool set just for that alone. And again, it comes with 7 figures, so it's very cool. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and box this for y'all. Take a look at each individual figure and do a review of all of them. So yeah, I'm pretty psyched about this one. It's some really cool characters in here, some really cool costumes, and a really awesome box set. So I'm just going to tell you up front, if you don't have this, you need to go get it. Cool. Defense of Cobra Island. Defense of Cobra Island. This is a very cool box set. Came out in 2009, if I remember correctly. It's got some really awesome characters in it. Sorry about the glare here. It'll just be here for a few minutes, so don't worry. So in this set, we've got Dr. Mindbender, Lamprey, Range Viper, Alley Viper, Night Creeper, Bat, and the Strato Viper, or Aero Viper, or one of those, 2, 3, whatever. This is the first release we got that had all these characters in their classic version of them, their classic costumes and colors. Very excited about this set. Packaging wise, the top is pretty standard. The back has the very awesome card art from the original releases. Air Viper, not Aero Viper, sorry. Very cool looking stuff. Bottom, pretty traditional stuff as well. This is the Cobra version of the Attack on Cobra Island set. The Defense of Cobra Island, obviously. These are the guys who are supposed to repel the invasion of the Cobra Troopers. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. So on the sides, there are just a piece of tape, one on each side here. Go ahead and just cut that open. And fold it out. If I can get it to fold out. Let's try it this way. There we go. And the cardboard just folds up as well. And we slide out the box set. And we also have the card backs, file cards. Recycling goes in the recycling pile. We'll look at those here in a moment. The insert is just kind of stuck in here. And we've got the figure stands as well. And this pretty cool looking diorama painted background thing. Very nice looking beach head set thing. You can see a couple of the sky strikers in the background. Nice explosion. Other than that, and just regular cardboard. So we'll go ahead and pull these things out. So just like with the attack on Cobra Island, this insert here has this cool fold down feature here with a piece of tape on the side of it. So we're going to go ahead and just cut that tape on both sides. And then this piece just folds down, I think. Another piece of tape right here in the center. Then it folds down. You've got some of the extra accessories here on the bottom, the figures up here. We are going to flip this thing over. A couple of these figures do have the clear rubber band things holding them in place, so we're going to go ahead and cut those rubber bands real quick. There's one here in the center holding the Alley Viper and the Range Viper in place. I don't see, yep, there's one over here on Dr. Mindbender's legs. And one over here on the bat holding that weird plant thing in place. And I think that's it. Flip it back over and we should be able to start pulling these things out now. We'll start over here. And a couple of the accessories may pop out, so I'll just pull them out and stick them back in their respective places till we can get to the review. Although they may not stay in place, so no big deal there. It looks like most of the guns are kind of held in place the same way. I just try to keep them together. You've got this weird plant thing that's kind of all over the place here, so just kind of feed it through the plastic and it comes out pretty easily. This thing's pretty cool looking, by the way, whatever it's supposed to be. These are pretty cool looking figures. And Dr. Mindbender is the last figure here. And it looks like there's another rubber band I didn't see there on him, on his shoulders. That's why he's not wanting to come out too easily. There we go. Then the extra weapons here, we've got some tape holding them down, so we'll go ahead and cut the tape as well. We've got these 3 little purple mine things. Don't want to come out too easily. There we go. There are some rubber bands on these things as well. Slice that open, and then everything starts falling apart. The ammo belt here is kind of stuck in there pretty good. I don't know what kind of position it is at Hasbro, but evidently they've got somebody they paid to engineer how to get all this stuff to fit in here so that it doesn't move in shipping. And I don't know, that's an interesting concept. Not a traditional kind of toy line process that you would normally think of. But I guess they got to pay somebody to do this kind of thing, so I don't know. If y'all are good at puzzles, maybe that's the kind of job you want. I would go mad though. Alright, we got everything out of the plastic, so we can go over here in our bin. We can line these things up and kind of see what's here. Try to sort these little pieces out as we go. So line them up with the characters they go with, more or less. And there you have it. All the stuff that comes in this set. Again, a lot of really cool looking characters, a lot of cool accessories. Pretty awesome. We will go ahead and zoom in now on each of these individually and take a look at them up close. But yeah, very cool looking so far. File cards. These come in this nice sealed little envelopey thing. One single piece of tape here at the top holding them in. So we have Dr Mindbender, Lamprey, Range Viper, Alley Viper, Night Creeper, Cobra Bat, and the Air Viper. Really cool. These do have the black background on them. Nice, smooth, glossy thing, very similar to the way they had the mail-ins a long time ago, and some of the figures as well with the vehicles came with that extra little background piece there. So I kind of like these file cards a little bit more than the ones you got to cut out yourself, just because I don't like cutting them out. Takes too much time, but these are pretty nice. Here we have all the figure stands themselves. Again, there is a single piece of tape holding the bag together at the top. If I can get it cut open. These are just traditional figure stands that we've seen many times before. They have the raised Cobra logo on them, and then the character code name here on the front, and the various different pegs for them. Looking at all of these, it looks like they have all of them as a single peg on the side, as opposed to some with one here and one here and one here and one there and wherever they are. But these are all pretty much the same standard version. So you've got Night Creeper, Cobra Bat, the Air Viper, Lamprey, Dr Mindbender, the Range Viper, which I will just point out if y'all can't tell, this one has some dirt or grime or something all over it, which is kind of weird. And then the Alley Viper. So yeah. Up first is the Air Viper. It is a very cool looking figure. Comes with one single accessory, just a regular pistol here. This one essentially is the Strato Viper from the original release. Got some airtime in the G.I. Joe cartoon, the G.I. Joe movie as well. And is a pretty nice looking fighter pilot, kind of advanced aerodynamic-y fighter pilot thing. Whatever. Looking at this figure, it's got a lot of awesome detail work on it. Very cool looking costume. Nice detail work all the way around. It's got this cool looking vest, which does have a little bit of paint where they missed, I guess, the buckle there. It happens from time to time. That's not that big of a deal. Very cool looking helmet. Non-removable helmet though. So you don't get to see his face underneath or anything like that, but it works pretty well. He does have a holster on his vest here that is non-removable. But it looks really nice anyway, so they at least have that much going for them. No other holster or anything on him anywhere. So as far as carrying his pistol, it's going to have to go in his hand, which is a shame. I always like it when they have, holsters to accommodate their sidearms and things like that, but doesn't always happen, so it's alright. Articulation-wise, the head does move 360 degrees. It has a little bit of up and down motion, not a whole lot though. Not that big a deal, but just pointing it out. Shoulder joint is the ball and swivel. Joint at the elbow, ball and swivel as well. Or rocker and swivel, I guess. And then a joint here at the wrist, which is just a swivel joint. No rocker anywhere on it. Same thing for the other arm. Single swivel at the wrist. So the chest does have the standard ab joint on it, or rib joint, whatever you want to call it. So side to side motion is very good on this one. Actually, the vest also does not hinder the ab crunch motion whatsoever here, so that's really nice. Hip joint, standard T-hook design. Then you do have double knee joint. And then the joint at the ankle, which is a swivel and rocker. So yeah, overall, pretty good articulation on this character. Really cool looking design. And it just works pretty nicely, so yeah, very cool looking. Pistol fits in his hands very easily. It is a little loose, so just be aware of that. It falls out pretty easily. which is a shame. He really can't hold the pistol whatsoever. You can kind of get it to fit in there, and nope, doesn't work. So that really sucks. I guess you can try to force his finger into that loop right there, but not working much at all for me. So I'm going to try to just squeeze his hand together a little bit. It is pretty soft plastic. And that seems to work pretty well, actually. So let's try his left hand, see if we can get that to work as well. Again, the soft plastic kind of makes it a little easier to work with there. So you may be able to get it to stay, but I'm not having much luck. Beyond the fact that he can't hold the pistol, it is a really cool looking figure. So actually really liking this design. It'll go well with the Firebat or with any other of the Cobra airplanes. So yeah, pretty cool. The Night Creeper. This was a really awesome figure when it came out in the original vintage line. The Night Creeper himself came out in the comics and was a really cool looking character, to be honest with you. Basically the bad guy ninja clan stuff and all the cool, anytime you got ninjas involved with things, it's makes things cooler. So it was a really awesome figure back in the day, and this one does a really good job of representing that original vintage line release. Weapons wise, we have to start out with his cool curved sword. It looks like just a straight re-release of the original sword from the vintage line. They did paint the blade silver on this one, so that's always cool. Very wicked looking curved sword though. He also has this really awesome looking crossbow, which we have seen with some other characters already. But it's still a really awesome looking crossbow. They have painted all the arrows on this thing silver, and it looks really cool. Not a bad design whatsoever. It's got a scope on it and everything. So yeah, really cool looking crossbow. The other accessories he has is just the backpack. We'll just go ahead and pull it off here. This is a very good representation. It's pretty much the same one as we have seen from the Snake Eyes Commando. It's got some really nice detail work on it. You can see the climbing claws up here, and like ninja throwing stars down through here, and some more arrow bolts and things like that. Big old rope at the bottom, and his, I guess, sleeping bag up here at the top. All in all, though, very cool looking. The sword slides into the side here. You got to kind of force it a little bit because of that weird curvature going on there, but it fits really nicely, very easily, and looks pretty cool in there. So, +1 for that. It also fits on his back pretty easily, nice and snug, so no danger of falling off, and doesn't have a whole lot of resistance going in, so very easy to take on and off. So yeah, pretty cool. Moving on to the figure himself. Very nice detail work on this thing. For some reason, I really like the color scheme they've got going on here. The purple and gray just really work for me. It is a two-tone purple. You've got the dark purple on his forearms, and then the lighter purple on the rest of his costume and gloves. So yeah, that's pretty cool. He's got this weird headpiece that doesn't come off. I thought it would, but yeah, it does actually. You just got to kind of force it to come off a little bit. Looks much better with it on though. In the picture, it sits a little bit lower on his head, so it looks a little goofy here, but all in all, not too bad. The rest of the detail work is pretty stellar here. I'll point out that the bottom of his boots have these cool spikes on them. I don't know how well that shows up here in this image, but it is pretty cool that they went to the detail level down to his feet wear. So yeah, pretty cool. His web gear is pretty well in line with the whole concept of a high-tech ninja. The armor plating on the front works really well, so yeah, very cool looking. Articulation wise, his head does rotate 360 degrees and has a limited up and down motion, but has some there, so I guess some is better than none, and it works. Shoulder joints, the traditional ball and rocker, so lots of full range motion there in the shoulder. The elbow joint is again the ball and rocker as well. So full articulation there. His wrist is just a traditional swivel. Same thing for the other side. Just a swivel joint at the wrist. The chest itself has the rib cage articulation feature there. So twist and motion side to side works really well. Not a lot of ab crunch motion here. I don't know if that's limited due to his web gear or just the fact that the figure itself doesn't have that big of a range. There is some going on there, as you can see, just not a whole lot, but I think it's fine. You don't really need a whole lot with this particular character. It would be nice, but you know, again, the web gear would probably limit things anyways. So hip joints, standard T-hook, so full articulation there. The rest of his bottom belt strap things don't hinder anything whatsoever, so very nice. Does have the double knee joint, and then the swivel and rocker at the ankle, so very cool looking. Nice articulation there. All in all, very cool looking figure. The headgear is a little wonky on it, but it works. It's a cool looking character. We'll tack his sword on there, backpack, and the sword fits in his hand very easily, so not loose or anything like that. Then the crossbow as well fits in his other hand pretty easily. No, not too loose or anything like that. So yeah, overall, very nice figure. This one turned out really well. It does have the same vibe as the original release, and it just really works. So yeah, cool. Cobra Lamprey. This is the hydrofoil driver, the Moray hydrofoil. It's nice to have the character itself, even though we didn't get an updated hydrofoil for the 25th anniversary line yet. Maybe they'll have one soon, but as of yet, we haven't seen a re-release of that particular vehicle. So it's nice to get these smaller vehicle drivers when we can. And this is a really nice looking update for that figure. His weapon is rubber banded on his arm, so we'll go ahead and take that off. Looking at the weapon itself, pretty nice little submachine gun here. Nice detail work on it. It's a pretty good representation for the original weapon that he came with, even with the little sidebar on there. So, cool looking. He also comes with these little bitty purple, I guess, mines. Not a lot of detail work on them, but it's pretty cool. These could also be used as spores or anything like that if you wanted to, so you might put them with Dr. Mindbender. But I'm going to use them as little mines for his water scuba diving stuff. Moving on to the figure itself, he does have an air tank here connected to his helmet. The helmet is non-removable, just so you know. So therefore it doesn't do much good to take off the cool little air tank here, but it does come off. It does have these two hoses at the top that plug into the back of the helmet and actually fit in there pretty easily, so it works pretty well actually. The faceplate itself does come off, just so you know, just kind of pinch it and pop it off, and you can see in there and see the guy underneath, and then just stick it back on there. It actually fits on there pretty easily. I was afraid it was going to be hard to deal with, but it is not. So nice. It is a very soft plastic though, just so you know, so you can kind of keep that in mind as you're dealing with things. If you do lose it somewhere, that's going to be a shame, because it looks really cool. The nice blue tint. He also has a pistol sidearm here in a holster, which has that really cool flap on it, so nice. Go ahead and pull that out, and it actually comes out really easily actually. Then it fits in his hand easily as well, so no problems with that whatsoever. Nice looking though. Go ahead and just stick that back in there though real quick. It does fit in there really easily, and I like that latch on there. Lots of nice detail work on this particular figure. He's got like a landmine, well, I guess a water mine here on the side. Looks really nice. A lot of really cool detail work on his vest. Overall, pretty nice looking. The head does rotate 360 degrees. Just be careful when you do that. You may accidentally pop off, like I just did, the visor, and these little pieces here may also pop off. But it also has pretty good range of motion up and down. Then the shoulder joint is the traditional ball and rocker. Ball and swivel, sorry. Also, same joint at the elbow, so swivel and rocker. Good articulation there. The wrist, just a single swivel joint there on both sides, so no big surprises there. This was really before they started getting into the extra articulation in the wrist anyways, so no surprises. The chest articulation is there. The ab rock motion is kind of limited by his big vest here, but there is some present there. It's got the traditional T-hook at the hips, so regular motion there, no problem there. Double knee joint, and then his ankle also has the swivel and rocker. So all in all, very cool looking, very nice. Very cool looking figure. The assault rifle fits in his hand also pretty easily. Well, I say that. There we go. Fits in there pretty easily, so he can kind of go to town on that stuff. These little hoses do pop off a little bit easier than I would like, but other than that, it's a cool looking figure. These little things here, you can stick them in his hand and he can kind of hold them a little bit, but not much else. But all in all, it's really cool that we get one of the vehicle drivers, even though we didn't get the vehicle yet. But I like the character. It's a cool update to the original vintage line, and all in all, it just works really well. So yeah, this one's a keeper. The Alley Viper. This particular character has always been at the top of my list for just overall favorites. And you wouldn't think that'd be the case with the crazy bright orange and blue color scheme he's got going on. But for some reason, I guess everything else he's got going on has always kind of outweighed the crazy color scheme. So it's nice to see the character as it was originally released in the crazy color scheme, which is what we get here. We've seen a couple of the other Alley Vipers were re-released in various color schemes, but it is just really nice to see the original crazy orange color here. So let's go ahead and dive into this thing. To start with, we've got the crazy riot shield here. It does have that rubber band still on there from when we removed it from the packaging, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull that off real quick. And taking a look at it, it's got some nice detail work on it. The nice Cobra symbol here at the front. A little place here for him to stick his rifle through so he can see through still. Flipping it over to the back, we've got the handle and this nice little groove place here for his baton to fit. And the baton just kind of snaps in there like that, so it's nice when they think about those things so the character can kind of carry most of his gear. As far as it fitting in his hand, it's actually works pretty well. Kind of just slide it in here from the bottom and then just rotate it up like that. And he's got his cool shield on there. So it works really well. Pull that off here. So really cool riot shield. Set it to the side. We already kind of touched on the baton here, the billy club. It's a pretty straightforward billy club. Nothing too special about it, but again, just to point out, it's nice to be able to stick that in here and be able to carry it around. Beyond that, he can use it in various different modes here on his person. So, see if I can get it to fit in his hand. Fits pretty easily, pretty snugly. It's not loose or anything like that, which is always a plus. So lots of different options for the billy club. Let's go to his crazy assault rifle here. Submachine gun, pistol, whatever you want to call it. Some very nice detail work on this thing. It looks really cool. It's very similar to the original weapon he came with in the original release. And it works really nicely. So again, it fits in his hand pretty easily. It's a little bit loose here, but luckily you've got the nice long stock there, so you can tuck it under his shoulder there, and no problems whatsoever. Switch it over to his other hand, and it's a little bit easier there. It's that grip's a little tighter. So yeah, pretty nice. No problems with that accessory whatsoever. Then we also have this other crazy weapon he comes with. This one is some kind of crazy grappling hook gun. Again, pretty nice detail work on this thing. Looks really nice. And then if we take a look at his backpack, there's actually a place here on the side where this thing fits. And it just snaps in place and mostly stays in place. You have to kind of get it to line up just right. But it kind of fits in there and holds pretty securely, unless you turn them upside down, in which case it just pops off completely. But all in all, is a cool little action feature. I wish it worked a little bit better. On the original vintage release, this was actually built into his backpack and it was non-removable. And yeah, it doesn't really work too well. And that's a shame because it's a really cool feature that would have been nice if it worked. So again, on the vintage figure, the backpack was all one molded piece, and you couldn't actually take this gun out and use it. So it's nice. It is nice to be able to have that as a removable weapon. And it's got kind of a larger grip on the handle itself, but it does fit in his hand pretty easily, so no major problems there. I do wish, though, that it did fit in his pack more securely. But now that we've moved on from that, let's take a look at the actual backpack itself. Again, a lot of really nice detail work on this thing. You've got these really cool grenades down here. Some kind of thing here that makes it look like the Ghostbusters proton pack. But overall, really cool looking. And again, it does have this little side piece here for you to attach the grappling hook gun. And it almost works. Besides that, the pack fits on his back very easily, very securely. Snaps in and out pretty easily, so really nice. Nice concept anyways, even if the execution didn't quite work out. But nice that they tried. Moving on to the figure himself now. It's a nice looking figure. A lot of really cool detail work everywhere on this thing. Flipping them over so you can see the back here. Just all in all, very nice detail work going on here. A couple of things to point out up front. You've got this really cool knife up here at the top that attaches to his vest, and it is removable, as you can see. You just snap it in place, and it does hold in there pretty securely. Then you can pull it out and he can use it as an actual weapon. So that's one of the things I really like about the line is when they can, they do try to include these removable weapons. On his right arm, right forearm, he has another knife and sheath. And just like that one, this one is supposed to be removable, is it not? Or can I just not pull on it right? It's in there pretty tight anyways. There we go. It does come out. It is in there very tightly, but it does come out. Again, nice detail work on it. It is pretty much the same as the other knife, so if you forget which one goes where, not that big a deal. And it fits in there very easily, and as you can tell, it was secure. It comes out a little easier now that I freed it up the first time. But very cool looking that they have that. He doesn't have any other removable weapons or anything like that, but some nice detail work in here. The grenades and the different pouches he's got all over the place. Very cool looking. His helmet, though, is removable. And we'll go ahead and pull that thing off, as you can see. And it does have the cool feature where the actual helmet moves up and down. The faceplate does. Very nice looking, very cool. Stick it, so his head looks kind of odd, but I think it's just that blue color that makes it look odd. Stick the helmet on there, and it looks really cool. And you can open up the visor and close it. So yeah, that is a cool feature. For the sake of argument, though, for the rest of the functions, we'll just leave the helmet off. The head articulation, 360 degrees, and does have full up and down motion here, so it's nice. Shoulder joint is ball and rocker. Then he's got ball and rocker at the elbow as well. And then the traditional just swivel joint at the wrist. Same thing on the other side, just regular wrist joint. The chest does have the traditional rib cage, whatever you want to call it. So left and right works really well. The ab crunch feature is pretty much limited by his vest here. So you still get a little bit of that ab crunch feature going on, but it is a little bit limited. But again, really awesome detail work on the actual vest. Standard T-hook at the hip joint. The little extra pouches on his vest can get in the way, but just kind of move it around a little bit and then you don't have a problem there. So double knee joints and swivel and rocker at the ankle. So all in all, really cool looking. Nice articulation on this figure. Yeah, so really cool. The character is meant to be kind of like, I mean, he's called an alley viper, so you assume he's going to be sneaking around the shadows and alleyways and things like that. And that's kind of where the actual paint scheme comes from. It's more of kind of supposed to be graffiti. So if you keep that in mind, the color scheme doesn't seem as crazy as one would think otherwise. Let's see if we can gear him up here. Except for this thing that still doesn't work. If anybody knows any tips to be able to hold this thing in there a little bit better, leave us a comment down below. I would appreciate it, because I really want this feature to work. It just doesn't. There are a couple of little raised grooves here that these things are supposed to snap into. It just they're not quite raised enough, so it doesn't quite lock on or lock in place or anything like that, which is a shame. Beyond that, gear him up here. Before we put his riot shield on, we'll go ahead and lock his billy club back in place. And there we go. Really awesome alley viper. And I'll just pretend that that's working so you can kind of see it that way. Man, I wish that feature worked. Other than that one little flaw, this is a really awesome figure. Really awesome paint job. I just like this figure a lot. I would have liked it a lot more if that one thing worked better, but even with that, it's a cool figure. BAT, Battle Android Trooper. This is pretty much just a standard repackaging of the previously released 25th anniversary BAT. So no big surprises here. They did go with a more classic color scheme on it though. And I do have a couple of these clear plastic bands kind of still hanging out here. Pull them off. This crazy thing here doesn't necessarily have to go with the bat. It just happened to be packaged with him, so that's kind of why I picked it up that way. It's a pretty cool vine with thorns and stuff on it, and I like the purple color, so it makes sense that if you know, you're going on to Cobra Island, you may run into some of these things. And it's a cool little feature, but I don't know. Doesn't serve a whole lot of purpose here, especially with the bad guys. You can, I guess, use it and hopefully snare some of the good guys instead. If you're, you know, supposed to be defending Cobra Island, I guess you could use this to defend it with. So we'll say that's the case. So we'll kind of treat that as a separate aside and move on from there. Looking at the Battle Android Trooper here, the first thing I see here is this crazy backpack here, which seems a little bit unique. not the standard one that we're used to getting with the bats. So we'll go ahead and look at it first. It is removable here. It opens up, and it's kind of a canister kind of thing. So I don't really know what you're supposed to do with it. There's all sorts of things you can do with it. You can store the extra head in there, and it kind of works. You can store an extra gun in there, and it doesn't work. Or you can go back to these little mine things that we had that may actually be spores, and stick them in here, and it works really well for a spore canister. So I am going to assume that makes a whole lot more sense to me. So that's what I'm going with. It's a spore canister that turns into these things. So, still, very cool backpack. Lots of cool detail work inside of it. It does kind of not latch really well, but it holds in place pretty good, so nice. As far as the bat goes, let's look at the accessories here. So he does have an additional head, so the undamaged head, which is swappable with the battle damaged head. Just grab it and pull it off, and use whichever of these that you like. I do kind of like the battle damage version. Kind of see his eyeball in there. Some of the circuitry. Cool. You just kind of wiggle it back in place, and there you go. You just swap the heads out for which one you want. He's got this really cool blaster pistol. Nice detail work on the pistol itself. Fits in his robot hands pretty easily. It's a little bit loose, but it fits in his left hand a whole lot easier, a whole lot tighter. So maybe this is a left-handed bat. The other little piece here is the chest piece, the non-battle damaged version, and then he comes with the battle damaged version pre-attached. And all you got to do is just kind of stick your fingernail in here and get underneath there. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, so I'm going to use this X-Acto knife. Then they just pop off, and you can just pop the other plate in place. And now you've got a completely undamaged bat. Conceptual wise, it's a cool feature. It's nice that you can just swap parts and have, battle damage and all that stuff. It is kind of hard to keep up with the extra pieces, but it's nice that you have that option. Looking at the figure itself, again, pretty much it is the same as all the other bats that we've seen. So a lot of really cool detail work in this thing. Feature wise, I will say you do have the arms that are removable. You just kind of pull on them and they pop off. Unfortunately, you don't actually have any of the other robot arm accessories in this particular set. So the original bat came with a hook claw thing, kind of blowtorch accessory, and a couple other things, and then a backpack that would actually hold all of those pieces. So this particular one doesn't have any of those extra accessories, which not that big of a deal. He's got his weapons, so you won't miss them that much. We'll also go ahead and point out the fact that he does have a sidearm here, a nice holster, and a pistol that fits in there very easily. It's just loose enough so you can get it out and back in without being so loose that it falls out under normal play conditions. The pistol itself, really nice. Some nice detail work. And again, it fits in his hands pretty easily. As we stated earlier, his left hand is a little tighter than the right hand, but the pistol itself fits in the right hand pretty easily, so no big deal there. Articulation wise, the head does turn 360 degrees and has limited to no up and down motion, just so you are aware, but it is swappable with the other one, so no big deal. Shoulder joint is the traditional ball and swivel, ball and rocker, however you want to call it. Same thing at the elbow joint, swivel and rocker. And then the wrist at the forearm is a traditional swivel joint. So all in all, really cool. His ab crunch feature is a little bit lower than a lot of these, but still you have left and right motion there and ab crunch and quite a bit of range of motion there, which is pretty well surprising. The hip joints are the traditional T-hook. I will mention that he does have this strap for his holster that attaches to his belt that does limit a little bit of the articulation on the left side. You can pop that little thing off. It's just got a little peg hole on it. Double knee joints and swivel and rocker at the ankle. So all in all, really good articulation, really good detail work here. The paint colors, the color scheme on this one, is again that more traditional, just straight up goldish yellow orange paint, and it works really well in this particular case. You don't need any crazy colors, to be honest with you. It just this color scheme works really well. So all in all, very cool figure. It's missing a couple of the extra arm accessories, but it makes up for it with this really cool spore canister. And then this crazy mutated spore vine thing. So yeah, very awesome looking. The Range Viper. You're probably going to get tired of me saying this, but this is also one of those characters that I always adored in my youth. I think it was because of the helmet that he wears. That crazy skull-looking helmet thing just struck a chord with me, and it still does. But we're gonna, take a more closer look at this. Let's start with his backpack this time. It's a pretty simple backpack, actually. A lot of nice detail work in it. He does have a couple of grenades on here and some other detail work here. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Does fit in his on his back really easily. So no big problem there whatsoever. Pretty standard. There we go. We've got his crazy big grenade launching thing. Let me take that rubber band off. This was his original weapon that he came with back in the vintage release. And the weapon itself was pretty awesome, and it still is. A lot of cool detail work here. The ammo canister here comes apart. But it just looks really cool. Very awesome gun here. Again, a lot of nice detail work on it. And I do like the fact that the big ammo clip comes off. The other weapon he comes with is this big assault rifle weapon, heavy gun. The bipod on it does come off. It's removable. Just slides in and out here at the tip. Just like that. That's going to be kind of a stress point probably at some point, but not a big deal right now. On the side of it here, hopefully if we can catch the light there, you can see there is a place for this other ammo belt to feed into. And you just kind of pop that in place like so. And you've got this big long ammo chain. So, very cool looking weapons. Looking at the figure itself, he also has a pistol here on his chest holster. Whoop. That is removable. Again, some pretty nice detail work on it. And it is nice that it has a holster that it will fit in. Fits in there pretty securely, pretty snugly. Then we are going to take a look at the figure itself. And it's a cool looking figure. As far as a wilderness figure goes, it never made much sense to me, and it still doesn't. The blue colors don't scream wilderness. Yeah. I don't really know where that came from, but that's what they call him, so that's what he is, and that's what he's going to be. Beyond that, really cool detail work everywhere. The helmet itself has the nice kind of skull feature. So we can get this thing to zoom in on it and focus on it. Very cool looking. I will point out that in the original vintage release, this part of the helmet had some kind of texture on it that kind of made it look like a brain. So they did leave that part off. Not that big of a loss. The helmet itself is removable, which is nice. And then you've got the traditional kind of beachhead head underneath it. The helmet slips on and off pretty easily, but it fits on there securely as well, so no problems with it slipping off or anything like that. So all in all, it's a nice little feature there. I don't think I'll be taking the helmet off very much, simply because I like the helmet a whole lot. So it works really nice, makes him look very grim. Articulation wise, the head does rotate 360 degrees. Up and down motion is present. Works really well. Shoulder joint is a traditional shoulder joint we're used to. No problems whatsoever. Standard articulation at the elbow as well. And then the wrist is the swivel, not swivel and rocker. Same thing for the other wrist. Not that big a deal. And these all pretty much came out before they started including that particular feature anywhere. So the chest does move at the rib cage, so left and right is easy, and ab crunch feature is very smooth. A lot of range of motion there, so nice. This one may be just a little loose, to be honest with you, but there's enough there to give, so not a big deal. The actual shoulder apparatus harness thing he's got here is pretty cool. Got this big belt chain going on, plus his pistol, and he's got like a grenade or flare. Flash grenade, sorry. So that works really well. Nice detail on that. The hip joint is traditional T-hook, and no problem whatsoever with being limited here. He does have the double knee joint, and then the swivel and rocker at the ankle. So all in all, very nice. I will point out that on this particular one, his left leg looks really weird to me. It looks like it's hyperextended. And I don't know why that is, but he does look very weird there. Simple fix just to kind of put it back in the place that makes it look right, but it's just kind of weird that it looks the way it looks. I don't know. Other than that, it's a cool looking figure. Really nice detail work all the way around. I love the helmet. The weapons themselves fit in his hands easily enough. So no problem with his big grenade launcher. His backpack fits very easily. And then you've got the other big machine gun that fits in his other hand. It's a little loose, to be honest with you. You can probably tighten that up a little bit. So yes, he is armed for combat, and he's force to be reckoned with, especially with this big long bandolier going off everywhere. Typically what I do is something like that to kind of keep that more manageable. Just kind of tuck it up underneath the scope, and you're good to go. So yeah, overall, very cool figure. Nice accessories. I like this figure a lot. That helmet is just awesome. So. The last figure in the set is Dr. Mindbender. I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of these little plastic rubber bands before we go too far into this, if I can. So Dr. Mindbender has recently seen a new release. He was the G.I. Joe Club exclusive membership figure this past year. That was an Arctic version of him, though. This is his more traditional appearance. So, yeah, very cool looking figure. He's always been kind of an oddball character. I mean, he goes around, he's essentially Dr. Machismo here. He walks around without a shirt, and he's got a bald head, and he's kind of a brainiac and all that kind of stuff. So, very kind of cool dynamic going on here. The figure itself looks really good here. Accessory-wise, all he comes with is this one mind probe. In his original vintage release, it came with this thing, and he had this crazy, wasn't a backpack, but it was a little box thing that was essentially his mind probe generator thing. It had a black hose that connected it. So it's kind of weird that he's being released without the rest of that, but I guess they figure all you really need is just the mind probe itself, so yeah, it works. The figure itself comes with this really cool cape. Nice silver logo there. And it is removable, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that for purposes of the review. But the original figure in the vintage line also came with this cool cape. So it's nice that they remembered that and kind of kept it as part of the design here. And there's another rubber band here I got to get rid of. There we go. So, he does have this crazy backpack web gear thing that sits a little high on him out of the box. It does have this little snap here, so you can adjust it yourself. But unfortunately, it's a little bit tight around his waist. But there we go. You can get it to kind of sit further down on his waist so his suspenders aren't up around his ears. So once that is done, it actually looks pretty good here. He does have this weird piece on his side that his little mind probe should fit into if you force it a little bit. Oh, I guess you could do it like that, and it's just a little odd. It doesn't quite work as well as I had expected. But you can kind of do that and whoops. Then you couldn't see it under his big crazy cape, I guess. Other than that, I don't really know why they included that little piece on his leg, but whatever. It's still a cool looking figure. Articulation wise, the head does move 360 degrees. Up and down is very nice as well. Standard shoulder joints. Standard elbow joints. And standard swivel wrist joints. That is a little weird here. I'm just now noticing that this particular one has two of the same hands. So mine has two right hands. Though you wouldn't really notice it if you weren't paying attention, which I wasn't and didn't notice it until just now. So, yeah, that's a little odd. Moving past that, the chest piece does move pretty easily. Doesn't have a lot of ab crunch features, but it is there. Standard T-hook at the hips, double knee joint, and swivel and rocker at the ankles. So all in all, very cool. I will point out that his boots here do have some nice detail work on them. Some nice silver buckles going on everywhere. And it looks like he's also wearing a pair of spurs, which is kind of cool. A little odd for a brain doctor. But whatever. All in all, it's a pretty cool looking figure. A couple of weird things going on with him. Trying to get his belt situated back on here right. And put his cape back on. So you can get the full effect here. This is a cloth cape, so just be aware you may accidentally tear it trying to get it on and off. We can adjust his belt a little bit more. There we go. So taking it as it is, it works pretty well. It looks pretty cool. This crazy mind probe thing doesn't really have much of a handle, unless you want to call that thing there its handle. So but it's a cool looking figure, a very accurate representation of the original release. And strangely enough, I actually like it pretty well. It's a great mad scientist kind of character, and it just works. So, yeah, pretty cool looking. It's a shame he's got two right arms, right hands. Other than that, pretty awesome. So here are the characters and accessories that come in this set. All in all, it's a pretty cool set. The color scheme that they chose for all these are the classic representations of the characters, It works really well. Has that nice kind of throwback kind of feel to it. A couple of the figures didn't quite live up to their potential. Most notably, Dr. Mindbender and his 2 right hands. And the unfortunate issue with the Strato Viper's backpack and grappling gun. Other than that, really cool set, really cool features. If you haven't picked this thing up, I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's a little pricey, but yeah, I like it enough, so I don't have any problems with it. But yeah, cool figures. I really like the vintage look that's achieved here, and it works well for me. So that's been our deep dive look into the G.I. Joe 25th Anniversary Defense of Cobra Island box set. All in all, a very awesome set. Hopefully, if you pick one of these up, you won't have the same problem I had with Dr. Mindbender having 2 right hands, but it does sometimes happen, so roll with the punches when you can. Otherwise, it's a very awesome set. Really great characters included here, and ones you can't really get the color schemes anywhere else, so highly recommend this one. That's all the time we've got for today, so thanks for watching. Drop us some comments, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, Yo Joe.